Today we are going to discuss the dark world of billionaire wives, taking you through the journeys of two remarkable women, Anna Murdoch and Ruth Madoff. One is a story of heartbreak, another is of deceit. Starting with Anna Murdoch. From the countryside of Estonia to bustling Glasgow, the story of how an Estonian tailor's daughter ended up playing a big role in Rupert Murdoch's media empire is quite the journey. Lachlan, James, and Elizabeth Murdoch, along with their mother Anna Torv, trace their roots back to Torvenholm Farm in Estonia's Pärnu County. Their grandfather, Jacob Torv, originally from Torvenholm, worked as a village tailor before the Second World War. Afterward, he moved to Pärnu and then boarded a ship to Scotland, where he continued tailoring in Glasgow. He changed his name to Jacob Torv and eventually married the daughter of a Scottish shop owner. Their daughter, Anna Maria Torv, who would later marry Rupert Murdoch, was born in Glasgow in 1944. Unfortunately, Jacob's marriage didn't last long, and Anna and her siblings were raised by their father, who later moved the family to Australia in 1954, where he started his own dry cleaning business. Anna finished high school in Australia, and because her father couldn't afford university, she started working as a reporter for the Daily Mirror, a Sydney newspaper. It was there that she met Rupert Murdoch, who had inherited the news from his father and would go on to build a massive media empire over the next 70 years. Their love story began, and Anna and Rupert married in 1967. They had their first child, Elizabeth, in 1968. Wanting to expand beyond Australia, the family moved to the UK in 1969, where Rupert acquired the News of the World and The Sun. Their sons Lachlan and James were born in London in the early 1970s. In the mid-1970s, they relocated to New York City, where their empire grew with acquisitions including 20th Century Fox and The Wall Street Journal. During her marriage to Rupert Murdoch, Anna Murdoch achieved a lot academically, earning degrees from 2 universities and publishing several novels. Her book, In the Name of Family, was even translated into Estonian in 1997, drawing on her experiences in publishing and management. The novel is dedicated to all those who have shaped newspapers throughout history. Reports suggest Anna may have first visited her father's birthplace in Estonia in 1980, though this hasn't been confirmed by Estonian World. According to local sources in Tostamaa, she visited again in 1986 with her father Jacob, as the Soviet Union began to show cracks. One local recalled seeing them, describing a gray-haired man and a stylishly dressed woman who likely was Anna, though she didn't speak Estonian. They visited Torvenholm Farm, where Jacob, known locally as Jaska, had grown up and had a lengthy conversation with locals. Anna and Rupert Murdoch visited Estonia together in November 1991, shortly after the country regained independence from the Soviet Union. During their visit, they met with Arnold Reutel, who was then chairman of the Supreme Council. They also interacted with journalists from Eesti Ekspress and Arapäev, 2 independent newspapers established during Estonia's independence movement in the late 1980s, distinct from the communist regime. At a press conference in Tallinn, Rupert Murdoch famously remarked to journalists about the country's elite, possibly including communists and KGB members, as recalled by Hans H. Luke, founder of Eesti Express. Privately, one of Murdoch's colleagues also noted their meeting with Arnold Reutel, expressing concerns about his economic knowledge and understanding of modern Europe. Rupert clarified during the press conference that their visit wasn't business-related, but rather a trip to Anna's father's birthplace, reached via Finland, where he had finalized a deal for newsprint supplies. In the early 1990s, Anna Murdoch contributed $10,000 to Esto, a global Estonian diaspora festival in memory of her late father. Although they couldn't attend Esto 92 in New York, Anna expressed her support and regretted missing the Estonian singers, reflecting her father's admiration for their voices. She emphasized her joy in seeing Estonia's message resonating globally through Esto 92. Rupert and Anna Murdoch divorced in 1999 following Rupert's relationship with Wendy Dang, whom he met in Hong Kong, where she worked for his Star TV network. Anna, who was active on the board of News Corp, had to resign from her role as well. The divorce settlement one of the most expensive in history, reportedly left Anna with $1.7 billion in assets, including $110 million in cash. Afterwards, Anna remarried to financier William Mann, who passed away in 2017. In 2019, she married Ashton DePaster, also a financier, whom she jokingly referred to as her toy boy, according to Tatler magazine. With Rupert appointing his son Lachlan as his successor at News Corp, there's speculation that Anna might re-enter the fold. Lachlan has expressed closeness to his mother, noting her continued interest in the company despite losing her board position after the divorce. The Telegraph highlighted that Anna viewed her departure from News Corp not just as the end of a marriage, but as the end of an era, expressing sadness at leaving and wishing the best for Rupert's children and the company. Now that Lachlan is taking charge, there's anticipation that she might return to the fold. Another dark story of a billionaire wife is of Ruth Madoff, an American former bookkeeper and the widow of Bernie Madoff, the convicted American financial fraudster who served a prison sentence for a criminal financial scheme until his death in April 2021. Here's a casual paraphrase of that passage. After her husband got caught for his fraud, they both tried to take their own lives in 2008. Even though she had around $70 million in assets under her name, the government and the trustee handling her husband's firm, Irving Pickard, took almost all of it, leaving her with just $1 to $2 million. Madoff was born in Queens, New York, and grew up in middle-class Laurelton, Queens, in a Jewish family. She went to Far Rockaway High School and graduated from Queens College in 1961 with a degree in psychology. Later on, she earned a Master of Science degree in nutrition from New York University in 1992. She married Bernie Madoff on November 28, 1959, when she was 18 years old and he was 3 years older. They met while both attending Far Rockaway High School. They had two sons, Mark, who graduated from the University of Michigan in 1986, and Andrew, a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School in 1988. Sadly, both sons passed away before Ruth. Mark died by suicide in his New York City apartment on December 11, 2010, exactly 2 years after his father's arrest. Andrew passed away from lymphoma in 2014. Ruth worked as her husband's bookkeeper for a period. According to a Vanity Fair article, during this time, employees in the London office noted that Ruthie runs all the books. She also served as a director of Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. In an interview, Ruth revealed that after her husband's financial fraud was exposed, they both attempted suicide together on Christmas Eve 2008 by taking a mix of pills, including Ambien and possibly Klonopin. Fortunately, they survived after waking up the next day. During Bernie Madoff's sentencing in 2009, a victim named Marcia Fitzmaurice stated in court that "Your wife, rightfully so, has been vilified and shunned by her friends in the community." Following Bernie's imprisonment, Ruth tried to avoid public recognition, even changing her appearance by dyeing her hair red. According to Bernie Madoff's filing in March 2009, he and his wife were reportedly worth up to $138 million, with additional estimates valuing his business interest in Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities LLC at around $700 million. Their assets included securities worth $45 million, $17 million in cash, and substantial holdings like a yacht, jewelry, properties in Manhattan, Montauk, Palm Beach, France, and various other valuables totaling nearly $60 million. After Bernie's imprisonment, most of the Madoff family's assets, including their New York City penthouse, were seized by the government. In June 2009, just before Bernie's sentencing, Ruth Madoff reached an agreement with prosecutors to retain $2.5 million while surrendering the rest of their assets for liquidation. However, this settlement did not prevent others, such as trustee Irving Pickard, from seeking further funds from her as a recipient of potentially wrongful transfers from Bernie's fraud. In May 2019, Ruth Madoff, then 77 years old, agreed to pay $594,000 to settle claims by Pickard on behalf of Bernie's fraud victims. This included $250,000 in cash and trusts for her grandchildren, with the remainder of her assets to be surrendered upon her death. Pickard had initially sought $44.8 million from Ruth, alleging she had benefited lavishly from Bernie's fraud, though the settlement was reduced due to her limited remaining assets. Well, that's it for today. What are your thoughts on their journeys? Share your reflections in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more intriguing stories. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay tuned, and stay engaged.